Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nina Kauser show. Oof. I don't even know what to say. This is your post-match show covering Liverpool's embarrassing, result performance. Shit show against Arsenal. It finished 3-2. My word, there are so many talking points, so much frustration. What the hell kind of Sunday afternoon? And joining me on this podcast, hopefully I'll have some callers on and some excellent guests. So let me introduce my guest who will be on top form. I'm going to make that bold prediction now. Nothing can be worse than what we've just witnessed. Let's just put that out there. Joining me on this podcast, I have two excellent guests. First up, let me introduce a familiar voice on the Nina Kauser show, a guy that helped me through the really, really dark times during COVID football, and there were some terrible football to be played that season. And it's only fitting that he's on this podcast. It's Dave Horrocks. Welcome back, Dave.
Hey there, Nina. It's great to be back. It's been a while, hasn't it? But yeah, it does feel a little bit like that COVID time, actually, doesn't it?
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, oh gosh, Dave's going to be like, oh God, I'm back on. And, nothing, so much has happened, but nothing much has changed in terms of your show and how these things happen. Anyway, we'll get into everything in a minute. And joining Dave on the podcast, another familiar voice on the Nina Kauser show, the Daisy podcast and the main AI podcast, a good friend of mine, a good friend of all yours as well. You all adore him. It's Mr. Kam Branch. Kam, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nina. Thanks for having us on today. Pleasure to be here.
You both sound so fucking miserable, and I'm right there with you. I'm just going to put that out there. I think we're just going to have a collective pity party. I mean, guys, before I get to our first call, and I just want to get your thoughts. How do you feel after that? Because I'm so angry and I'm so frustrated and I'm so like, oh my God. How do you feel after that? And Kam, I'll come to you first.
Honestly, I genuinely had no expectations of us getting anything out of this game today, and that
in itself is quite telling.
Yeah, and that's damning of where we are as a football team, a football club at the moment. I really didn't expect us to win the game, but even when we went 1-0 down, I was like, no, I'm all right. They will do something, and I got that little bit right. I thought, yeah, that they will do something. And they did do something, and then it's just, well, we'll get to it all, isn't it? But like I said, I had no expectations of today. A draw would have been a great result against a team that is flying high. That's 8 wins at home on the trot for Arsenal in the Premier League under Arteta now, and that's good. That's a sign of a good football team. You can't take any away from Arsenal. They are a good football team, but we should have got something out of the game today. Unfortunately. And that's the frustrating thing about it all, isn't it? Despite my reservations going into the game, I just knew we weren't going to do anything in the respect that I took Salah and Trent out of my fantasy Premier League teams. I just had no expectations of them doing anything. So, and unfortunately, I was proved right on both those counts.
Clearly, you're managing your fantasy football team better than what's going on at Liverpool right now. Oh, sorry, I went there.
Yeah.
I went there. He knew. Take note, Jurgen. Stop playing Henderson. Anyway, I'll come to Dave now. Dave, how do you feel after that? Because I think, because listeners need to be aware, as soon as that game's over, we run on here and we get recording straight away. So the emotions and the feelings are very, very raw. So, paint the picture in terms of what's going on with you.
I mean, I try to temper my expectations, and going into it, I thought we could come out of it with a real hide-in. So the fact that we made a match of it, I guess my head is saying, okay, it's closer than what I thought it would be. But I'm just pissed off. I'm just angry about the whole situation. And I don't even know what direction I'm angry at, just everything. I mean,
Yeah.
the team is an absolute shambles. The transfer strategy going into this season was a joke. The players look dead on their feet. I don't know what has gone on with the training, but how did we go from outrunning everyone to being outrun by everyone? And you get terrible decision making as well, all across the pitch. There isn't anyone, bar Allison, you would say. I can't really put any blame at his door. It's just terrible decision making across the board. But in addition to all that, as average as we were, and Arsenal are flying high at the minute, and they do look like a decent side. Every major decision that was there to be made seemed to go against us. Their first goal felt like to me it was offside, but no one in commentary bothers to even question that. But the trailing leg, when it comes down the right-hand side, looks way offside to me, but okay, that goes against us.
Did it show us the graphics or anything, though, did they?
No, but you go from fucking Firmino's armpit is offside one season, and then now it's like, yeah, no, it's all right. We don't need to show that. He's fucking offside. I am telling you. When I was looking at it, I was like, unless it's an optical illusion, he looks offside to me with that trailing leg. Arsenal's player, I think it was Gabriel, his hands right up, ball hits his hand. Again, you look at a penalty Gomez gave away where he's trying to retreat. He's trying to get his arm out the way. It hits his arm, penalty. That was a fucking penalty to us. And then the penalty that won it in the end. Now, I haven't seen it from multiple angles, but it didn't look like a penalty to me. And they don't even ask Oliver to have another look at it. It's just every major decision goes against us. The sports washing in the game, I'm just fucked off with everything, Nina. But that's why I'm on here. I always feel better, after I've had a bit of a vent on here. So, that's why I'm here today.
And you know what? You've got free rein to ventilate. And before I get to my first caller, I just want to kind of share my thoughts on that. And I've heard both of you, and I've been like nodding, and I agree with you. But you know what makes me really, really sick is the fact that Arsenal are a good team, and they're with you. Arsenal are a good team, and I'm with you in that regard, but it pisses me off because, like you said there, Dave, how did we go from outrunning everyone? We look so aged and leggy today. Certainly in that second half, it was embarrassing. What really, really pisses me off about this is the fact that, Klopp goes with the 4-2-3-1, or the 4-4-2 if he wants to call it. And, my slight change would have been I would have maybe not played Henderson. I would have played Fabinho. But it's fine, yeah? So he goes with a system that suits the attack and everything. Within a minute, we concede, yeah? So straight away, we get our pants pulled down. Then we start coming back into the game, and we'll talk about all those decisions in a minute. So we get back into it. We score a gorgeous goal. Things happen. There was some big, big defining moments in that game. I think the Diaz injury and sub cost us quite dearly because I thought he was an absolute nightmare. But basically, we clawed it back. We started looking at the better team. And at the end of that first half, we concede another stupid goal from our free kick as well. They hit us on the counter. For me, and it felt very much like this in Brighton as well, we got 2 goals down, we pull it back, we're ahead, and then we have another brain fart moment. And that is the frustrating part. It's the fact that we can't stay focused. We lose our shape. We lack that kind of professionalism to kind of see out games, which was something that we were really, really good at. I just don't recognise us, and I think that is my biggest concern right now. It's frustrating, and we're going to talk about the key moments from the game and everything. But before I get to talking about the game, let me go to our first caller because I've kept him hanging for quite some time. So, Kieran, I am going to come to you. Long time no speak.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's wonderful having you back, Kieran. You know the drill on this show. You know what you need to do. The floor is yours. Take it away.
No, well, it was just yet another shambolic performance from us yet again, and it's just starting to become a bit of a regular occurring theme this season. We just something not right with this team at this moment in time. We're just a complete mess at the back, conceding just stupid goals and stuff like that. It's not good. And like you said before, I know we were a couple of contentious decisions went against us, but like you said, even if we somehow got a point out of that game, it would have been quite frankly undeserved. We were a mess, complete shambles today.
We really were. We really, really were. Thank you so much, Kieran, for those thoughts. And I think pretty much everyone on live on Discord pretty much agrees with you. So do so will the listeners, and of course my panel. So cheers, Kieran. Right, let's get into this. Cam, what did you make of the lineup? Of course, it worked so well against Rangers, but I did say on the Eurocision podcast, and I think a lot of people felt this as well. Worked great, but it was Rangers. Let's see how it does against a team that is actually of some Northern quality. So, in terms of the setup, were you happy that Jurgen Klopp went with the formation, or would you prefer the 4-3-3? Also, the players and the personnel as well. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the team, the team lineup, and your initial thoughts to it.
4-2-3-1 has its plus points. It has its negative points for me. Obviously, it allows you to get the 4 strikers on the pitch. But you can't to change mid-season. Either you start with that formation from day one of the season because you've been practicing it all summer, and then suddenly you switch in 2 games. I'm just finding that a bit odd. Okay, it's a reaction to what's happened with prior results, so I get why he's doing it. The thing for me is, if you're going to start 4-2-3-1 and you don't have your 2 best midfielders as the 2, you are exposing your defence more. And we saw that today with the 2 goals in the first half. I don't think, just touching on what Kieran was saying and yourself and what everyone in Discord is saying, I'm going to say something really, brain-too controversial here. I don't think we were a shambles that first half.
No,
in between the 2 goals.
I agree. I thought we started playing better.
I thought actually we were excellent. Some of the technical football that was played in how, when we were in possession, and how brave we were in possession, and how
and even some of the defensive work
around.
As well.
Yeah.
Even what Shimikas did, we were getting us out of hot spots with the defence. Remember when they all kind of played themselves out of trouble?
Yeah.
As a team.
Agreed. And it was probably some of the best football I've seen us play this season. Probably from about 15, 20 minutes to about the 45th minute mark before, obviously, the shambles in the 5th minute of injury time at the end of the first half. But I thought in between that half an hour period, that 35-minute period, whatever you want to call it, I thought we were really, really good. That's the best I've seen us play this season. I'm not saying we turned a corner or anything. But there was a sign there that what they're trying to do was maybe working. And so you could then understand, right, okay, 4-2, but for me, the 4-2-3-1, I feel you're asking your front 3 as such. 2 wide players have got to come back and do more defensive work, which is not what you want Salah and Jota to be doing, or Salah and Diaz to be doing. You want them to be going forwards. Your best passer of the ball is then exposed because you don't have your best midfield defensive shield in front of them. He's then going to get exposed. He's already struggling as it is. So I just found it a little bit odd today to go 4-2-3-1 against a team that is obviously playing really, really well. And that was my biggest concern today.
I think that's fair, and I do agree with you in terms of some of the football that we were playing in between the 2 goals was, which gave me the positivity, and I thought maybe we could have built on that in the second half, but it just totally went to shit. I will come to you, Dave. What did you make of the team lineup? I think a lot of people are like, this formation, the system, it seems to work better. So what did you make of the team lineup and also the different formation? Because clearly the 4-3-3 has kind of been failing us quite a lot this season. I think, I hate to use that word, but it's true. But sometimes you kind of get figured out. Felt that way all season. Your thoughts?
I think I'm more with Cam and what he just said there about all the pre-season. You know, you work on this stuff. I mean, we've been 4-3-3 for what, 5-6 years now?
Mm-hmm.
People haven't been able to deal with us up until now. I don't think it's that people have figured us out. I think we're just really not playing very well.
It's very interesting you say that, because Klopp said the exact same thing in his press conference.
Right. Okay, I missed that. But so
or something like that.
Yeah, for us, the break glass emergency change in formation for years used to be to go 3 at the back.
Yes,
from
it
the
did.
days of,
Mhm.
Mark Wright, Phil Babb, Neil Ruddock, playing back there, and then Brodgy did it as well.
Yep.
It used to be, oh shit, we're conceding loads of goals. Let's go 3 at the back, and that was the emergency. But we've been playing this way for so long. It's just against Rangers, it struck me as quite odd, and I think I was having a back and forth with a mate of mine, huge red as well, and he was getting quite annoyed with me, I think, because he was like excited about this change in formation and beat Rangers 2-0. I'm like, look, it's fucking Rangers, right? Probably might beat MK Dons or something at a push, but they're not a good fucking team, and we won with 2 set pieces. So why am I gonna start suddenly thinking we've turned the corner? We're not Everton, So to go with the same formation that's worked once against Rangers seemed weird to me. But I'm trying to think before the game. I'm thinking, well, okay, maybe it'll throw Arsenal off a bit, but I didn't really think they cared, and the trouble is, as soon as that first goal goes in, it almost goes out the window anyway. And I would agree. I thought in the first half, either side or in between their 2 goals, we actually played some really nice stuff, but
Agreed.
fuck-a-doodle-do. We just made some terrible, terrible decisions. I was looking at the clock, just as, they had 5 minutes of injury time at the end of that first half. And I'm looking at it, and we've got everyone forward. I'm like, what are we thinking there? Like, all across the team, it's not just the captain who should be saying the lang about. Let's be a bit pragmatic here. We've got another half to play.
The 2 deepest players were Henderson and Trent, right? And
And then we end up with 3 against 3 at the back, and then for some reason Trent decides to go and double up on the one player in possession. But when you're on 3-on-3, why would you double up? It just terrible decisions across the whole team, really. But for me, you have to be brave in what you believe in when things aren't going well. And like I say, the Klopp had said it, when he was on Monday Night Football, he gave that great talk about, Firmino's position and everything. He was saying, well, formations, it's just about players occupying different spaces and having different jobs on the pitch. The change in formation for me, it feels like he's almost second guessing himself, and I don't like it. I can see why, okay, it's not, the 4-3-3's not been working for us, but we've been doing it for so long now. And it's not as if, we've been playing so well and for some reason people really have figured us out. I don't think they have. We're just playing fucking shit. It's as simple as that. So, I don't know, maybe if we play the next game and get our asses handed to us against City, and then we go back to the 4-3-3 and that feels comfortable again and we can actually kickstart the season, maybe, it'll be for the greater good in the end. But I'm looking at the league table. We've got 10 fucking points after 8 games. This is a crisis now.
Yeah, it's not looking great. And I think people were joking yesterday. The team that we beat 9-0 is currently above us in the league. And of course, talking about Bournemouth there, which is quite bad. Like when you just think about it, if you don't laugh, you will cry. I've got some comments here on Discord. I'll read some out. And let me, guys, if you want to respond to anything that I read, feel free to jump in, both Dave and Cam. Okay, Chris Singh here. Can't call in because I'm too frustrated, but can someone tell me how the hell has Henderson played a full 90 and more came off? What the fuck is Klopp and Pep Linders playing at? Also, the whole waiting for Jude ain't coming. if we don't make the Champions League. I've got another one here from Chamber Trilogy. Who will AFC pick as their man of the match, Michael Oliver or Jordan Henderson? Kieran in here as well, obviously our caller. We got way too carried away with certain individuals having good games at against a championship level team on Tuesday, and it came back to bite us today. Umbilical Boy, I'll just read the last one, then we'll get back to I'll come to you guys. Would making Virgil van Dijk captain change the game and improve this team's game too? Just a thought, although it feels like nothing can save this team now. Oof. Not a good vibe on Discord at the moment, and I can't really blame all you guys for feeling how you are. I mean, like, even I'm sure that, like the overly positive Liverpool supporters are not enjoying what they are watching right now. Anything you want to respond there, guys?
Go on, Dave.
I think the easy one is, would making Van Dijk captain change things? I don't think so. I mean, the whoever wears the armband, for me it doesn't really matter. It's more of a figurehead. But when Virgil's been on the pitch before, he really has commanded that whole team. I still think we're conceding a lot of goals, so the defence are the automatic ones to go to. Defence and goalkeeper usually, but again, I can't really see what Alisson's done wrong this season. Not much. For me, we just haven't solved that midfield problem. And Fabinho hasn't had the best season, okay. But the fact that he's not started the last two games, for me, just makes me wonder, okay, is it because Klopp is a bit annoyed that he didn't follow his instructions a few games ago? Is it...
Oh, yeah, they got into a shouting contest, didn't they, against Brighton, was it? Yeah.
And I like I say, I've not been able to watch as much this season, so I'm a bit out of it. But is Keita actually injured, or is he just, Sacco style? Is he just frozen out now? Is he just, that's it? We're prepared to play Milner instead of Keita because Klopp is done with him. Do we know?
I don't think we know, but it does feel like, I don't know, like, obviously I'm no body language expert, but when he talks about Naby Keita in press conferences, he just says he's still out, and then he'll move on really, really quick to somebody else that he's talking about. I don't know if you guys on Discord, when you watch his press conferences, you get the same vibe as well. Like I said, I'm no body language expert, but it just doesn't feel like he has much to say on Naby Keita. The midfield situation is an absolute joke, and lots of chit chat there about Jordan Henderson as well. Cam, anything you'd like to respond to?
I'll go through them. How did Henderson play for 90 minutes? Because Klopp and Pep quite simply lost the plot. Why you took Trent off, you could say, yes, it was injury related. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Henderson certainly had a hand to play in both those goals that we conceded in the first half. I don't think anyone can deny that, as much as Trent did. They were both, Trent was poor for the second goal. You could say Hendo was poor for, made mistakes with Odegaard in the first goal. And he should have just taken Martinelli down and taken a yellow card for the team. And he shouldn't have allowed Martinelli to get into the box to put that cross in. So, yeah, Henderson, there is an argument to say Henderson should have come off at some point in the second half. I would have taken Henderson off and put Harvey Elliott on, or when Fabinho came on, Henderson should have come off then. I think we would have got a better balance on the 4-2-3-1 then. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a gob on a stick. Man of the match is definitely Michael Oliver. So that's my shout for man of the match today. Umbilical Boy. Klopp ain't going to change the captain. As much as we want Klopp to change the captain and drop Henderson as the captain, he ain't going to do it. It's as simple as that. Because if you took the captain armband away from Henderson now, as bad as Henderson has been playing in some games and had the odd little good thing here and there in a game or whatever, he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to destroy a player's career like that. Not mid-season. Not after this much time. So we're stuck with Henderson as a captain, whether we like it or not. Nigel, our midfield was too slow and Arsenal knew they could beat us on the break, same way with nearly all the teams we've played so far this season, including Champions League. Again, I'll just go back to how we were in between the first two goals. Our midfield dominated to a fair extent. We dominated that. We had more possession today. Second half, we were a shit show. We were all over the place. But like I said, that half an hour, we were the better team. Now, we can only be a better team if the midfield is doing something right as well. And for a certain period of time, they were. They weren't brilliant. Maybe it was more on Thiago than it was Henderson. But we were controlling that game better. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say on that one. Naby Keita, there were some photos of him recently in the changing room, wasn't there? When Tsimikas was on top of somebody doing some sort of wrestling move or something. So, and he had a big grin on his face, and he was at Anfield on Tuesday. Has he been frozen out? Well, whether you have frozen him out or not, we need him on the pitch. Get the player fit, whatever it is, just get him fit, get him on the pitch. When Naby plays a league game, we average something like 2.8 points a game. Now, he can be, we can have a Naby discussion all day, all night, whatever you want to do. But the fact is, he's a quality football player. His quality we need to see on the pitch. There's no good being. It's all about availability, isn't it? If he's not available, he's not available. There's nothing you can do. If he is available, get him fit, get him on the pitch. We need him. We need bodies. You could argue the same about where's Curtis Jones? Where's he been all season? What's going on with him? Why is nobody talking about Curtis Jones? It's all about Naby, isn't it? Because we paid big money on Naby. It's easy to target Naby because we paid big money for him. I mean, I'm as frustrated with Naby as everybody else. I've pretty much had enough. I thought he was going to, be the difference for us, and he can be when he's playing, but it's no good if you're never available. Nobody's going to buy him. Who's going to buy him? Really? Who's going to pay the money for him? He's going to see out his contract and go on a free. Why would he? Why would he not do anything differently now? So even when he was fit, did Klopp used to play him all the time? No. Why? I don't get it. He's certainly better than some players. I would have him in my top three midfielders for Liverpool that are within that first team squad right now. It's no good if he's not fit. We can have that discussion all day and all night, can't we?
I think that's.
Today, so.
No, it wouldn't. And I think, you've just kind of touched on a few things there. And I think, with the Henderson thing, it's just deeply, deeply frustrating because I think we can all agree, when we had that control, I do feel like, that the midfield was holding up against, was kind of winning in the battles against Xhaka and what's his face, Partey and I think a large part of that was down to maybe having a player like Thiago in there because I felt like he was, when we were on top, I felt like he was on top of his game as well. And things were just pulling the strings. And I just think it makes your life so much easier. But I just felt like, as that game was kind of going on and I just felt like he was quite at fault for a couple of those goals, in my opinion. And that's just me just talking about him in this game. I just don't feel like he's up to that standard. I feel like what we were really, really guilty of in terms of when we played well, we were great. And, there were some bright moments, when we sort of, conceded, you saw Núñez growing into the game more, and I'm sure you'll all agree, his movement was excellent. At first he was frustrating me a fair bit, Dave, with some of his offside, not timing his runs properly. But, he started growing more into the game. He was, I think he was probably our first player to kind of get a shot on target as well, if my memory serves me correctly. But, Ramsey pulled something when he took the goal kick, and then Salah made him sort of commit to, putting the ball out. And, he pulled something and, not that I applaud injuries, absolutely not. But you thought, what, we can get into this team and we really can. And, he was one of my bright sparks in terms of what the attack was doing. But for me, when we played well, it was largely down to two players. Well, there was three players that really, really impressed me. And one was Thiago, I thought played really, really well in that moment. I thought Luis Diaz was absolute fire, and I thought Chimikas was the guy that was doing really, really well in terms of in an attacking sense and even in a defensive sense.
Yeah, I think it was a massive blow, and mates just text me there that Diaz has been seen leaving on crutches.
Shit.
So that is really not good. I felt that was a massive blow when he went off because I thought he was our best player.
Yep.
Absolutely laid that goal on a plate for Nunes. I was quite happy. I still don't know how I feel about how he shows so much of his emotion. I don't know who he was doing the crying kind of gesture to. I don't know if it was the goalkeeper or the fans or whatever, but I think he needs to score a few more goals before he starts winding up the opposition. With things being so bad, just let's put these games away. But yeah, I think it's just gutting, isn't it? I think Diaz again. He's not been brilliant this season, but he's not been. He probably has been one of our better players.
I said Diaz has been one of our best players,
Yeah.
We've been shit. When all our heads dropped, even against Napoli, he was the only one that was running at that defence, was trying to do something. He got the goal, nothing goal. It was like, you don't have a clean sheet. But throughout, I just feel like his attitude and him just like running at players. And I also like the fact that, he does get pulled down, he does get fouled a fair bit, but he never ever kind of retaliates.
Yeah. No, he's brilliant, and again, I hope it looks worse than it is. But just let's see what comes out of it now. But again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have to go back to the recruitment, and I don't know if it was just towing the party line or whatever by Klopp to say, it was me who said we didn't need a central midfielder, but I cannot rationalise it. I cannot look at that team, even against Rangers. We're bringing Milner on. I'm like, what the fuck? And in 13-14, I still maintain Henderson getting sent off against City lost us the league that day. He was unbelievable.
But that was like pretty much, it's nearly 9 years now. He's not got them legs.
Yep. No, and that's what I was going to say. I think even in the title-winning season, though, I thought he was playing way above what I thought his level was. But the fact that he's starting all these games is a real problem. And so I just think you've just got to look at the recruitment. We're dead on our feet. I don't know whether the lack of running is... It feels like it must be a deliberate thing. It's kind of like let's conserve our energy for the second half of the season. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because we've got the World Cup coming up as well. I'm not sure if it's deliberate, but I mean, the season's borderline a write-off now. I mean, top four would seem like success from where we're sitting. We look miles off that. We look incapable of putting any kind of run together. And, people are holding out for, Jude Bellingham is going to come next summer. Is he bollocks? No way. No way is he going to come. And even if he does, that doesn't solve everything. We needed to be replenishing these players and not wringing not squeezing the pips out of the last players who should have been moved on a long time ago, like Henderson and Milner. I think they've been great servants for the club, but just the recruitment needs to be sorted out.
Can I respond to a couple of things you said there, Dave?
Yeah.
Go for it.
The running aspect, other teams are allowed to run more than us. It's not a God-given right. I mean, I'm not having a go at you, Dave, running. I'm just saying generally. It's not a God-given right that our teams will always be most intense, run more than anybody else. Other teams, professional football teams, they train. Most teams have got younger players than us. We could probably run that little bit more, give it that little bit more. So I'm not overly surprised that other teams are out running us, and we've lost a little bit of that intensity. And then that leads on to the recruitment aspect. For Klopp to say he's the one who didn't want a midfielder, and why did we go balls out to get Tchouaméni, and then why did we sign Arthur on the last day of the transfer window?
so bloody reactionary in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Like he only bought him because Henderson got injured. Because before that, he was of the line of no, we don't need a midfielder. We're fine. I'm happy with the team. As soon as Hendo gets injured, he buys an injury-prone player.
Yeah.
We don't see him, and now he's gone out as well. It just feels very much like the whole Ben Davies and Oblak, Kabak kind of situation.
Yeah.
He just reacted, and that pisses me off. It really pisses me off because if you're going, like it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, and that's where we're at, though, isn't it? We have an issue in midfield. We've known this though, not 1 year or 2 years. We've known it for 3 years at least. We've never really addressed. Yes, we knew Ginny was leaving. Thiago came in the season before. People are going on about we never replaced Ginny. Well, we actually did the season before he left. That's why we brought Thiago in. Thiago was the Ginny replacement. People, you've got to accept that. But again, another player who struggles to put a run of games together consistently. It's suddenly we've gone from a football club that recruits really, really well, and aside from the midfield, not signing not one midfielder but potentially two midfielders, we did actually have quite a good transfer window in that we got obviously we've got Darwin in, we got Ramsey in, we got Carvalho in. They were really good signings. Two of those players are going to be really good players for us. Well, all three of them are going to be really good players for us going forward for the next few years. The midfield, if you listen to us on the main AI podcast, it's the position that every summer and every January, it's the position I'm always saying we need to strengthen in. And everybody knows this. Yeah, the club has not done anything to address that. And now you can blame FSG, you can blame Julian Ward now, you can blame Klopp. The fact is, we're not addressing it. Until we do, we've got issues.
Yeah, they're massive. Just a response there from Kieran. The fact that we've signed one midfielder in 4 years is quite shocking. I'm going to go to our next caller, who's probably making his way back from the Emirates. It's Harinder. Harinder, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We are very predictable. That is a problem. More predictable than any other season I've seen us for ages. I could verbatim tell you what we are going to do if it's a goal kick, if it's played back to Alisson, what will happen next. And in the first minute, Liverpool didn't learn that lesson. Like in the first minute. We dilly-dally at the back. We started thinking that we're going to be cute about it. Arsenal, going back to the season we beat them when Mane scored running past the halfway line, etc., in the second half. In that half, they scored their first goal in a similar manner. They camped against our defenders. Our defenders were trying to play it out from the back. Arsenal knew that we would try to do this. We did exactly what Arsenal would tell us to do. And we made a mistake. And they scored from that mistake. That happened in 2016-17 season. It happened this season again. That day, though, obviously we had the likes of Mane and everybody else, a formative midfield that actually functioned and did shit. And today, other than the first half, the second half, I've been listening to what you guys have been saying. You're right. Everything went to shit in the second half. Because for the second minute up until the 44th and a half minute or 48th, 49th minute, whichever way you want to play it in regards to adding the extra time, Liverpool didn't play in a predictable manner and they didn't do the things that they always kept on doing in regards to going through the flank. They actually sometimes tried to go through the middle as well, with some degree of creativity and annoying Arsenal at this. But in the second half, I don't think we did it once properly. And I've heard people say, it's Trent, it's Hendo, it's this, it's that. Never just one person, though. It's never, ever, ever just one person. The only time it can ever be one person is when you're the goalkeeper and you literally kick it out to the attacker. Then it can be one person. You blame the goalie for that one, 100%. Or a player does something really dumb But in a systemic action of play, you can't blame one person. Because at that point, you are desperate to remove team. Yeah, this whole stupid cliche analogy of there's no I in team. Well, there's no blame then in just one person. In a similar vein, either you support a team in that sense, or you go, fuck it, we'll blame that person. It's not that person, it's that person. Not that person, that person. Automatically, your default position becomes to blame. And it's like almost trying to seek out the individual you wish to pin everything on. But if you win as a team, surely you lose as a team as well, right? But today, we 100% lost from that second half as a team. Can't say it was all one person or anything like that. Even when trying to fight back, it was a fight back of a team, but supply lines are cut, things aren't great, and you just look congested. I mean, for their goal, and I mean, for anyone who says they saw anything different from the away side, if they're chatting shit. No one saw how the penalty happened. No away fan sitting in that position can actually physically see what happened unless you're sitting in line with it. And if you are sitting in line with it, you're sitting in either Arsenal hospitality somewhere, or you're sitting with the Arsenal fans. So as an away fan, sitting with the away folks, can't see what happened. But you could see the melee. You could see that there was a panic and there was lots of people kicking a ball in an 18-yard box towards the goal, and we're trying to desperately clear it. And all of a sudden we clear it, but then we see there's a penalty. And you're like going, oh, okay, that's just literally us in a nutshell. There's a calamity, and there is there's pain because of that calamity, and the pain is inflicted upon us. So I don't really have much of a question for the panel, other than, am I wrong to think we lose as a team?
Because if you win as a team, you lose as a team. But I do believe, and I am of a belief that everyone, Klopp said this in one of his previous press conferences. I can't think before which game it was, that everyone is responsible for everything. I can't think which game it was before, but it's one of his press conferences. I agree with that. Having said that, I feel like you have to play your role and your position to the best. Otherwise, what is the point? You can't be like, well, I'll put a half-assed performance in because my teammates, we're a team. No, everyone chips in. That's how you get team wins. And if somebody's got their eye off the ball and they don't perform to the level that they are meant to be, i.e. tracking down runners. And also another thing I have a problem with, we ball watch, we chase the ball, we don't, there's a few times in the second half where we were all just gravitating towards the ball. What on earth is going on? That's not right.
No, it's not right at all. I agree with you in regards to gravitating towards the ball. There's also parts of the first half where a ball is played and you just think, all you have to do is run 10 yards. You just start running and you'd be at the ball. That's all you had to do. Rather than look like a misplaced pass or anything like that. You're like, just fucking move a little bit. The eagerness and desperation almost that's needed when you're in a losing position or you want to win and fight. It's not completely there. Darwin Núñez aside today, I think had a fucking belter of a game in regards to playing through his skin. There's a lot to be said about players who are just coasting. And I don't know where the coasting has come from because it's not in their modus operandi of previous seasons to just coast and casually see a game through.
The problem right there, having the fact that so many are coasting is the reason why we are losing, and then the whole team has to think it. Look at the game against Brighton. The attack held up their part of the bargain. Agreed. 2-0 down, 3-2. Thank you very much. Brain fart moment. You. Even though Brighton were the better team, but the fact was, it's all about what goes on that scoreboard. Yes. And, Liverpool, and we kind of dropped points, even though Brighton were the better team. Today, the attack having to claw back from stupid errors made. And they were stupid errors.
It's very painful to watch. Like, really painful. I don't know. I can't imagine what it's like watching it on the TV because you have to watch the replays again and again and again and again. Luckily,
and you have to listen to Martin Tyler as well. Fucking hell.
Yeah, you don't get that. I mean, the replays on the Arsenal screen aren't as painful, really. But I don't know what the answers are anymore, and I have a real worry that where We're almost a loss away from some sort of I don't know, attempted Hail Mary 3 at the back of Rodgers type bollocks about to happen, which isn't going to fix very much either. But the reboot mentally, I don't know where it's going to come from. Players wise, nothing can happen until January, so you can't have that reboot in regards to selection of people. Some choices are brave, but you live and die by the choices that you make, i.e. Henderson, not Fabinho. And then the changes made at half time, whether that's injury related or not, don't know. But again, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? In those scenarios. So yeah, it's a very, very tough day for Arsenal away. I mean, Arsenal haven't beaten us in God knows how long. Last time away was what, 2015, 2016, I think? I think it was 2015. Because in the 15-16 season, because in the 16-17 season, we definitely beat them. Yeah, I can't think when another time that they've beaten us until now. Which is also shit, because Gooners will be really overexcited about things.
I think the last time they beat us was back in when we won the league, yeah? So when the football started again in 2020, and we'd already won the league at that point, yeah, so it didn't really matter.
That one doesn't really matter. That one doesn't really count.
Yeah, I think that was the last time they beat us in the league at their ground. I've got a comment here from Nigel. I watched the CL here in Australia, and our pre-show is done with Aussie team, and one of them said and showed footage of our midfield, Henderson and Fab, wandering all over the field and getting caught out of position. I think that's why Fab and Klopp had words. But because Henderson goes wandering, then so does Fab to try and fill the gap. This is it. If everyone does their job properly and they have kind of like that whole awareness. For me right now, the whole midfield conundrum, it feels like it very much, I'm not comparing it to this, but it reminds me of that era of Emre Can and Henderson in terms of who stays back and who goes. Do you remember when we had that whole conundrum when them two could not play in the same midfield?
But then we also tried Emre Can as a defender, right? When he ball up in the air. We don't want to go back to those kind of experiments. I don't know whether it's wholly like that. It's probably a very, very good one to think about, to be fair. I think my larger pain with all of this, though, is we can... Arsenal in the second half, they could go through us. They could go through the midfield. You had people going onto them. At some point, you'd have 3 players or 6 players around somebody and trying to swarm them. And still, Arsenal player has the ball and ends up on the other side of it where they want it to be. And you're like going, come on. Like, genuinely, that shouldn't happen. That really should not happen. From a professional pride perspective, I'd be looking at that thinking, fuck me. Like, come on, guys. Are we really that bad that, we can't maintain or control players getting beyond us, especially when we've swarmed around them in such a manner? Like, it's really abysmal. I think it's probably the right way of saying it. I'm trying to control my language a little bit because I just want to be all effing and blinding, because that's not really going to change very much, right? It's not going to make me feel any better, probably make me feel a whole lot worse, to be fair. But I'm at a loss now. We'll play City in a week's time. Yeah, leave Rangers aside for a second. We play City in a week's time, who are fantastic at literally camping in the opposition half and making the opposition life a misery. If they camp in our half at Anfield, then that's extremely worrying that we are so conceding in the fact that we're letting them do it. Like in your home, if you do it, if it happens away from home, you could kind of admit it. But if it happens on your home patch, you have to have real conversations about yourselves and your identity or lack of identity. I know we're going through an identity crisis. I know all the cliches around that have been thrown out there. But yeah, it's worrying times, folks. I know Gags has said that it's been worrying times for a while, etc., etc. And I was kind of half on the page, and today I kind of got to the same page as Gags. I'm usually the last one who gets there as well. But today, seeing them Arsenal away, there's a fight, but then it whimpers. And when it whimpers really badly. It's like they all tuck the tail between their legs and they all kind of look at each other and wonder what's gone on. Instructions come from the side to Henderson from Klopp. They have a massive conversation. He then tells somebody else. He'll tell he'll tell somebody else. He'll tell somebody else. But nothing changes. We still kind of look the same.
Yeah, I completely get that, Havinder.
And you're not going, Well, what instruction came off the bench then? What do as you're doing, lads? It's fantastic. It can't be fantastic. They just scored.
Yeah. Harinder, I'm going to have to cut you here because we need to get back to the panel. Completely understand and completely get it. It's very, very frustrating. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't have much more of a question. I just wanted to unleash a little bit. But...
No, it's fine. I think a lot of people feel that way, and you're well within your rights to do so. And you've really, really given us so many good talking points. And I think a lot of people would agree with you. But Harinder, thank you so much for that.
No props. Have a good evening, folks. And
thank you.
Cheers, Magic.
Yeah.
And Dave.
Cheers, man.
Right. Let's get back to the game. Cam, we kind of spoke about Liverpool, and let's get back to the game. So obviously we know they scored a goal, and it was a classic for me, a very, very traditional Arsenal kind of goal in terms of how those front men all link up and play balls to each other. And, I would have liked us to be a bit more aware to what was happening, certainly so early on in the game, but these things happen. You touched on this as well. We started playing a lot better. I want to get your thoughts on around about 14 minutes. Obviously this the first there's a few controversial things in this game, but Michael Oliver handball, Gabriel handball. How on earth was that not a pen? How on earth was that not a pen? I don't even know what unnatural hand position is now. If it's against your head, it's in an unnatural position. I don't understand the rules anymore, and I think that's what I'm trying to get at, because that was a disgraceful, non-decision.
Yeah. I mean, it was every man and his dog, even the blind man could see that was a penalty, apart from Oliver and whoever was in the VAR. It was a penalty. That's all you could say about it. It was a penalty. It wasn't given. And it's just you can put to bed the myth that it's Liverpool now, can't you? We can clearly say that now. We're not the VAR darlings or anything like that. And it was a pen. There should have been 2 pens today. I think the one in the second half that they had was a penalty. Thiago kicks the player in the foot in the penalty box, and that's a foul, unfortunately. So there should have been 2 pens. Would it have affected the game? Probably. It could have had a huge impact on the game, because it would have knocked the wind out of Arsenal's sails a lot earlier. Would have possibly had an impact going forward. We don't know. We're never going to know now. But I thought we reacted well to not having been given that penalty. That's the baffling thing about today. How we didn't lose our head at that point. It was a clear and obvious penalty, wasn't given, and we still got back into the game. And then I'm still just lost as to how we were so awful in that second half after being so good, and getting back into it in the second half again as well, after throwing it away at the end of the first half. And the more I think about it now, that third goal, I'm just thinking, what was going on down our right-hand side? Gomez was completely exposed, because Xhaka was the one who was putting the crosses in. And central midfielder was playing left wing. Bizarre. What a day.
It was. You know what? There were no tactics in the second half, and we'll get to that. Yeah. Chris Singh there. Oliver, a few seasons ago, was categorised as the best ref in the Premier League. Yeah. Amazing how he's fallen off a cliff. I mean, he is literally the best of a bad bunch, and he absolutely bottled it and lost all command of that game. And shit started going really sour towards the second half, certainly for their penalty. Dave, I'm going to come to you. Talk to me about Michael Oliver's performance in general. I was just so frustrated with him. I thought he was absolutely awful. I thought he was inconsistent. Things that he should have gone to the monitor, he never did, or he was never called to do so. It was the whole inconsistency of it that really, really pissed me off. Aside from us being, absolutely a joke in the second half, things don't help. And, that call there, I mean, that was a penalty. I'm like Cam said, even a blind man calls that.
Yeah, and I remember, when we had that really terrible run where we just couldn't win at all, and then suddenly put a run together and finish 4th. I remember
COVID, yeah.
Yeah, I remember saying, you know what? I don't believe in the conspiracy theories. However, it keeps happening so much. the thing is, it's not just Michael Oliver, is it? There's two people who have
Paul
to.
Turney as well.
Yeah, two people have to look at that and say, yeah, that's a natural position, or whatever it is, but that's not a penalty. But we've seen it so many times over the last few years. Now, if I go back to before VAR came in, I would look at that and say it's just ball to hand.
Yeah.
He's too close.
Yep, I was exactly the same before they diluted and messed up all the rules where no one understands the rules anymore, including the referees.
Exactly. And, they seem to... It annoyed me, but you could kind of get it. It's like, right, they've simplified it all. If it's in an unnatural position and it hits your hand, that's it. It's a foul, or, it's a penalty. But then I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, what the fuck is it now? I just don't know. And that's what annoys me. And I've seen so many decisions now that are just consistently go against us, where you're thinking, well, two people have to look at that. And I don't think Oliver makes the decision. It's Tierney. It's the person who's on VAR.
It wasn't Tierney in VAR, it was somebody else, sorry. But Tierney's another referee who seems to have it in for us. That's what I meant, sorry.
Right. Great.
Apologies.
Whoever's on VAR should say, have a look at this.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, he shouldn't have said have a look at this. That's the point. He should have said it's a penalty.
He should have just said it's a penalty, yeah.
He shouldn't have had to go.
He
shouldn't have had to go back to Oliver to make that call. That's what he's there for.
But I think the ref on the pitch still has to make the final decision, doesn't
No,
he?
no. The VAR can give that as a penalty.
VAR can give it, can they? Right. Okay. Whatever it is, there's two people there who've stiffed us over. And it just... I know the rational part of me is saying there's no conspiracy, but it just keeps fucking happening. It's just a joke. So, yes, we were not great, but I don't believe we... Arsenal, let's face it, Arsenal have gone to the top of the league tonight, and they are a decent side. But we've just sabotaged ourselves, and it feels like we've been sabotaged by the officials. Now, you could say, okay, maybe it's not deserved. If we'd have got those decisions, it wouldn't have been deserved. But it's fucking football, isn't it? That's the way it goes. It's a low-scoring game. Sometimes things do go the way that you don't expect them to. So it just feels like absolutely everything is against us at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really frustrating. It's really annoying, and of course, that was in the moments where we started getting, like you said, Dave and Cam, that, we started having some hold of the game. And I'm going to stick with you, Dave, and Harinder kind of highlighted Nunes there. And, I felt like he was kind of growing into the game. I think around about 26 minutes, Salah's ball to Nunes. I think, he tests the keeper. Nunes, Hendo gives Nunes the ball around 29 minutes, and he kind of squares it, and Saliba... if he gets that wrong, he's scoring an own goal. But, lucky for them, their goalkeeper was there to pounce in the instance. Round about 31 minutes, Salah near post shot, again, if his decision making was a little bit more, on point and he went for the far post, maybe somebody goes back post for a tap in, basically what I'm trying to say is there was moments in that time where you felt that Liverpool were going to score. The response was correct.
Yeah, and I thought when it went to 1-1, I thought there was only one team who was going to score.
And talk about that goal. I mean, because Diaz was just absolutely magnificent. I think Trent Ball was next to, and Diaz on it, and just runs, puts it through Saliba's legs. And, there's Nunes.
No, it was great. And I was glad because, against Rangers, Nunes had lots and lots of chances, and it just felt like he was almost running in treacly. It's like he was just overthinking it. I think the fact that it was laid on a plate for him by Diaz, I thought it was a great run, great square across. And the fact that he didn't have to think about it, it was just instinctive, just great finish. I thought, right, he's off now. And I think, I'm absolutely confident that Nunes will be a really great player for us. I think he does need to get just that bit of confidence, stop overthinking it. He probably feels like, he's come to this huge side with all these superstars in. He probably feels like he's not really worthy of it at the minute. So, but he just needs to get over that. But I'm sure with enough games, he'll come good. I'm absolutely positive. But yeah, just brilliant goal. And yeah, I was wrong, obviously, but I just felt at that point, after that, I just felt there was only one winner in it.
Yeah, I felt the same as well, Liverpool. And you know what, you started to see, Cam, I want to get your thoughts on the goal, the build up to the goal in terms of how we were playing. I know, like in terms of we were sort of asking more questions of their defence and certainly of their goalkeeper. I want to get your thoughts on the goal, and we definitely looked like the team that was going to score. And in those moments, I felt like Arsenal's naivety and youth, the lack of experience was kind of coming to the forefront. And I felt like that was where we should have really, really exposed it, because you saw moments where Chimikas was absolutely doing a number on Saka. That battle was really, really grand. I felt like he had him in his pocket for the most of that period. Can't hear Cam. Can anyone hear Cam?
Yeah, sorry, I had you on mute. Apologies. I was trying to be professional, maybe professional doesn't really work, does it? I was going to say, it was a bit of a lucky goal to start with in that the way Trent sliced this sort of upfield ball, didn't he? And then, and obviously, I think it was Gabriel who got a touch on the ball. Otherwise, it would have been given as offside, because Núñez at that point was offside, and it would have gone. He would have been class. The flag would have gone up. But so we got a bit of luck, and then the ball from Diaz. It was the only thing he could do to put it exactly where he did, to put it round the two defenders. That was just glorious. And I'm sure everybody goes on about Núñez's movement. His movement is only as good as the ball he receives. He can do all the movements in the world, but if he doesn't get the ball, he can't do anything with it, can he? And that was a perfect example of where you give him the ball in the right place, and he's gonna do that damage. And it was a really good pass from Diaz, who was our best player in the first half, and it was really unfortunate injury for him to pick up, and that's a blow for us. But good goal, really good goal. Really pleased with that. Really pleased for Darwin, because something he needed.
Yeah, and I felt like Dave said, he really wanted to get that goal against Rangers, and he was maybe overthinking it, and maybe now the shackles are off and maybe the floodgates open for him, and he does get a lot more goals, because we're going to need it, most definitely. I'm going to stick with you, Cam, and talk to me about we're in injury time, and we get a free kick. And, we say as Harinder said, you lose as a team, but what the hell were the team doing? In terms of, of course, Saka gets the goal, but Martinelli there, just absolutely taking Hendo for a walk. And he did. And, Trent all over the place, overlaps, just the awareness or the lack of awareness. And, Saka just gets like the easiest goal. I mean, just the build up to that goal as well. Like, even if we kind of go where, it bypasses Thiago, right? And, maybe he could have done a tactical foul, broken down the play there. But, I can't think who was on the podcast earlier on this show and said, well, there needs to be better talk, if Hendo is the captain, hang on a minute, one of the centre-backs stay deep. Why were Hendo and Trent the deepest players in that position? But talk to me about that, because that frustrated the crap out of me. The worst possible time, as cliche as it sounds, the worst possible time to concede a goal.
Yeah, I mean, cliches aside, any time you concede a goal is the worst possible time. It was
It changes the team talk, doesn't it?
It does. It changes everything at half time. But if we'd conceded 10 minutes earlier, it's still the same team talk, isn't it? To a point. But that's going off the topic there slightly. That's on me. Sorry. What can I say about this goal? Thiago could have taken the man down. Hendo could have taken the man down. Trent went for a walk as well when he didn't need to, and left the centre of the penalty box completely explode because Tsimikas then had to come. I think it was Tsimikas who had to come across then, and then obviously you got Saka there just with the easiest tapping he's ever going to have. There was no offsides or anything like that in there. It was just a shambles. Everything about that goal was a complete and utter shambles, and that sums us up from what we have been this season. It actually sums us up in that we've had no game management all season in any game, really, have we? We struggled all season, even in games. I mean, forget the Bournemouth game. That was just an abnormality. That was just a one-off. That was a freak result for us. We've done nothing all season, and we finally start to look like we're possibly looking at the corner, not turning the corner, but just looking at that corner and thinking, right, we're approaching that corner now, and then they do that, and that is game management, and that's not just on Endo, that's on the management on the side. They're the ones who have not shouted, no, you've got to get back, don't go up. What was Klopp doing? What was Linders doing? What was John Achterberg doing? What was the doppelganger doing of Klopp?
Yeah, well, do you know something? That is a question that Justin has just put into the chat right there. Part of the management is anticipating the worst thing and mitigating it. Is Klopp not doing that this season?
No, he's not. He's actually not. I mean, I haven't watched every game this season. I've not watched every game live. I tend to come back and try and find something online and try and watch the game that way. And I've not seen Klopp doing anything this season that makes me think he's in control. He looks out of control. And, going back, you can go back and look at 7 years at Mainz, 7 years at Dortmund. He burnt that Dortmund team out, didn't he? He burnt them out. They won 2 Bundesligas. They got to Champions League final. He burnt them out, and he didn't react to it. And he hasn't. Is it a question of he hasn't learned from it? He doesn't know how to learn from it because he needs. It's like somebody said earlier no, nobody said it here. I'm just thinking, is it time to freshen up the coaching staff? Look at what Ferguson used to do. How many assistant coaches did Ferguson have over all those years? He used to change it regular. Why? You've got to keep it fresh. I mean, we thought all that Buvac was the brains and the team was going to fall apart. Well, guess what? We actually became the best football team in the world when Buvac left. So, is it a question of we need to change some of the coaching staff now as well? Maybe they've gone stale as well. I mean, I wouldn't change Klopp because who are you going to bring in who's better than Klopp? Genuinely, yeah. I mean, what's the answer? I mean, all right, you can have and again, to all those people shouting FSG out. Fine, FSG out. Who's coming in? Which state fund do you want to take us over? Which one? China? Oh, suddenly you got morals now. Which billionaire do you want to pump in money? Because that's what that's what it's about now, isn't it? We don't buy the players. We don't have this. We don't have that. Oh, what's the alternative? Show us. Tell us. Where are they? The grass. We all want the grass to be greener. That's the players who left Liverpool if the grass is greener. It's I don't know. It's they're fucked.
Don't. Dave, I'm going to come to you. The goal that we conceded towards the end of the second half, you were not expecting that, given what you said. Only one team on top. So I want to get just quick your thoughts on terms of like how bad that was.
Yeah, I mean, so I used to coach at a really low level, just kids game, but you have to go through like your FA qualifications and everything. And so
Yeah.
even at that level, you try and set the team up for match day, and you don't really want to be in a position where you're having to instruct players from the sidelines. Because if you're doing that, you haven't done your job in training. So and like some of the passing moves and what have you that happen, how you break down defenses, you're trying to make sure that the team can solve problems themselves on the pitch. They're not looking to the sidelines to ask Dad, how do you solve this one? So I guess Klopp could have shouted on the pitch and gone, "What the fuck are you doing?" We don't have to send everyone forward. It's not like it's the 89th minute and it's the second half of the season and every point counts. It just seemed like a ridiculous decision to me. And I don't know everyone. To come back to the earlier point, do we win and lose as a team? Absolutely. Surely it just took one person to say, "What the fuck are we doing? Why are we sending up Matip and Van Dijk?" I looked at the clock. This is before the goal. I'm not just saying it with hindsight. I looked at the clock and I genuinely thought, what are we doing? It just seemed like a ridiculous decision to me. It's very odd anyway to have 5 minutes of injury time in a first half. Usually you think they should be adding 5 minutes, but they rarely do. And so, yeah, I just think it's just systematic failure across the board at the minute. And I definitely agree with the point. There's no one for me that comes in and replaces Klopp and makes us better. Not in the long run, anyway. But someone needs to help him. Someone, the coaching staff, definitely, there needs to be some kind of replenishment, some fresh ideas, some new blood, some new ideas. And because everything's just stale. But I don't know whether the previous season again. I don't want to make excuses, but at the end of the day, we've won 2 fucking games. That weird Bournemouth game where just everything we hit went in, and then that last few seconds winner against Newcastle. Those are the 2 victories we've had in the league this year. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it down to last season and everyone just being mentally tired? I do agree that again, you have to. Everyone's morals, by the way, Cam, go out the window. It's like, oh, look at City and look at Newcastle, disgusting human rights and all that. But
then they won it.
Would probably say, yeah, but can we have them, please? I think the thing I can't wrap my head around is, but why does it, put City, and I would say Chelsea as well. How the fuck can Abramovich just write off $1 billion or something? And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Well, that means Abramovich doesn't get his money. How is that not fucking sports washing? How do they get away without paying that debt? So put all those 3 clubs to one side. How does everyone else outspend us as well, though? That's the weird thing that I can't wrap my head around. How can we say that, okay, we put all our eggs in one basket, midfielder goes to Real Madrid, we don't get our star man, okay, we don't, bloody hell, that would have really improved us. But how many midfielders could we have brought in that would improve us on Henderson and Milner?
100.
Where's all the money gone? We could not have got to many more finals in Klopp's time. Going back to the Seville kind of final, we've got to a couple of European Cup or Champions League finals that we lost out on, as well as winning one, the World Club. I don't get the balance sheet. I just don't. I don't get how the West Ham and Villa and all these other clubs. Where is their money coming from?
You know what the crazy thing is?
And we can't spend it.
It's absolutely mental. We've gone from 2 points and 2 goals from being the greatest football team ever to this.
Yeah.
Life comes at you fast, right? Life comes at you
Mad,
fast.
isn't it?
Massive hangover.
Yeah.
It's as Nigel has just put in there, as last season playing every game possible, burnt the team out. 100%.
And I think as well, a short pre-season as well probably didn't help as well. You know, like obviously getting the season back running really, really quick because of this World Cup, and that's going to cause chaos as well. You know, it's just a really, really, I'm not making excuses, but you know, and then obviously with the Queen's passing as well, we've got 2 more games that we need to fit in somewhere as well. You know, good luck with that. Let's move on to the second half, and Klopp makes a sub, takes off Trent, brings on Gomez at right back. Of course, he picked up. I think he took something to his ankle in the first half. Cam, I'll come to you because, you know, Liverpool needed to come out, needed to kind of do something. I felt like within those moments, Arsenal pretty much started how they started the first half in terms of trying to get in on our defence and, you know, trying to, like, I don't know, rattle the right-hand side. But 52 minutes, can we talk about Jota's lovely ball to Firmino, and you know, and it was a lovely finish by him. But I love the fact that, you know, Liverpool again with a response there, you know, was really, really good stuff. And what did you make of the goal? Because their defense is there. You know, like, play the right pass, play the right ball. You've got intelligent players. You can do something to them. Because I felt like for the majority of the season, a lot of people have been sort of talking up, you know, that back pairing of Arsenal's as quite infallible.
Yeah, I mean, we actually started the second half really poorly. Arsenal were all over us, and it was actually a good move. And I'm just going to give Endo a little bit of praise because he actually played a bit of a role in it as well. You know, nothing spectacular, but a little simple 1-2 with, I think, Thiago, and then just advanced. And he advanced in a way. And I was thinking, oh, put it over the top to Tsimikas on the left, put it over the top. But he saw Jota there. And then it was the run from Bobby, because Bobby was actually in front of Endo when he made the pass to Jota. And he pulled Bobby's run, pulled Saliba out of position. And Saliba was nowhere to be seen because of the run. And then Gabriel had to try and come across and cover. So it was a really well-worked goal. You know, it was the movement of Bobby. And, you know, and like I said, I've got to get... You have to give credit when credit is due. You've got to give criticism when criticism is due. So it was a good ball from, you know, even though it was a simple pass, it was only like 5-10 yards, whatever, 5 yards. It wasn't anything spectacular. But to have done what he did and
do the simple stuff correct. Yeah.
I mean, every pass contributed to the goal. So every pass was important. So going back to, you score goals as a team, you win as a team, you lose as a team, you concede goals as a team. But when Bobby got the ball, and I thought the way he pushed it to the left, I thought, oh, he's gone too wide. He hit it really nice and clean. He didn't have to hit it hard, but he hit it really nice and clean, and it just went inside the post. It was a really good finish. It was a really good goal. And you've got to give everybody, you know, who played a part in that goal, you know, the credit for that goal. It was, lovely goal. Why can't we do that more often?
Agreed. And what did you make of that goal, Dave?
Yeah, brilliantly, brilliant goal. Like the movement for it, I thought Jota's pass was absolutely weighted perfectly. It's something we don't really, or I don't certainly associate with Jota, you know, being able to weight that pass, but it was just put perfectly for Bobby on his left foot, and it was just a fantastic finish. So it's the Bobby over the last couple of years, like we've seen a different one. Actually, that's been one of the few highlights, I would say. I think we've started to see, you know, a bit of the old Bobby back, and it was a brilliant finish. And again, I'm thinking, right, we're in this now. Yeah, didn't go that way though.
You know what? Yeah, because we kept silencing the Emirates, and they started to look really, really nervy. And I'm gonna stick with you, Dave, because again, then not so long ago, around about, you know, we had Gabriel Jesus head injury, and you know, Martin Tyler with his god awful commentary when he gets back on his feet. You know, just little things that I kind of like the fact that around about 60 minutes, you know, Gomez flinging Martinelli out. out into, towards the stands. Just not in a foul way, but in a way like don't fuck with me kind of thing. But then 68 minutes, Klopp makes a sub because I think Matip was a little bit everywhere in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. Konate comes on great. Salah comes off. Fabinho comes off. To me, this is where I felt like we kind of lost direction and shape. I did not know what was going on. I don't know how you felt about it. I didn't know who was meant to go to the right-hand side of the attack in that moment. I was like, are we playing a 4-3-2? Are we playing a 4-3-1-2 with Firmino just behind Jota and Nunes? Or is it a 4-3-2-1? I was just very, very confused as to who would be occupying that right-hand side. But to me, this is where we started looking a bit erratic. And I felt like Arsenal came back onto us.
Yeah, and again, obviously that is what happened. But, I mean, the first thing is, as soon as you see the players coming on and you see that Mo's coming off, like, so Matip for Konate, okay, that's fair enough. It's like for like. But then you're bringing Fab on for Salah. And I know, look, he didn't have his best game, but he hardly had the ball. And when he did have the ball, he did look quite dangerous. So I just thought, honestly, I felt like that was just a bonkers decision. And straight after the goal, or it felt like it was straight after the goal for me. And, you're thinking, right, we're on the ascendancy now. Arsenal are absolutely here for the taking. They're a decent side, but they're not a great side. They're far from it. And they were there for the taking. And we take off our best player and put a defensive midfielder on. I was dumbfounded by that. But then again, I'm just a bloke watching the football. I'm not like an elite football manager. So I'm thinking, well, he's obviously got something in mind here. But, it didn't go that way either.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thinking was there because, again, maybe if we just conceded or we were leaking so many chances or whatever, but I thought it was an opportunity to really go for the throat then. And yeah, I mean, think of being on that pitch if you're an Arsenal player and you see Salah going off, he's not scored. Brilliant. Job done here. I mean, that must have been a real confidence booster for them. So, yeah. Honestly, I love Klopp to bits, but fuck me, that was a joke of a decision for me.
And Cam, I mean, I want to get your thoughts on the subs. Do you think Jurgen Klopp was probably trying to, I don't know, maybe play for a point here? I don't know. Like, the second sub for me was just like, whoa. Not that Fab shouldn't have come on. I would have replaced him for another midfielder, but taking Salah off and bringing on another, like, sort of a defensive kind of midfielder, to me just did not make any sense in that moment because it's 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very strange decision. Salah wasn't getting enough of the ball. Why we're not passing him the ball? It's happening game after game after game after game. It seems we're just not giving him enough of the ball. He was our most creative outlet, and the way he's been playing this season it's like, well, we don't need you anymore. It's like, it's baffling. It's just it's really odd. I wouldn't have taken him off. We need a goal. He's still our best football player, as in terms of goals and assists and ultimately creativity. And you do that. I mean, it's the man of management. It's the managing the game. It's what Klopp thought he was going to happen by bringing Harvey Elliott on. Again, with 10 minutes to go. I mean, I guess he didn't really have much choice. It was Emil Carvalho. It's just all very odd. It was just like Klopp got caught up in the antics with a Lego boy, and he lost his head today as well. So there's a lot went wrong in the end today, and it's all well and good. I mean, we're all guilty of it. We love to point fingers. And we think we have solutions from the outside looking in, but we're all second guessing here, aren't we? Ultimately, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what the what is going through everybody's mind at the club right now? It just can't carry on like this. I've gone into a downer. I was all right before I started this pod, you know.
Yeah, you have. Because it was a bad result and it was a bad performance. And you're speaking about Salah coming off and like not doing anything. I mean, like around about 78 minutes, when it goes through to, we'll get to that in a minute. But Nunes kind of pulls back a shot. He fizzes one across the box, and like all it needed was someone to connect at the far post because they were there for the taking. There was no one clearing that ball. It just completely glides past.
Somebody's actually gone ahead of the ball, and the ball went behind them, and we're like,
Yeah, and it just needed like a more Salah being there. And obviously at that point there was no attacker there, and that's the frustrating part. But Dave, I'm going to come back to you. We're going to discuss the penalty for them and just the build up to it. For me, the most frustrating thing was we had countless opportunities to clear that ball. In that moment, just clear it. Stop being cute with your passes. You are literally being pressed. There is no space. There's nowhere for you to move. And, before all that as well, we started to look really, really old. We looked a lot older than them in terms of how they were playing. They had more energy about them, but we've discussed that already. But just the scrappiness in that penalty box. And then, of course, Thiago, I think, catches the calf of Jesus. And then, obviously, the whole kerfuffle of Granit Xhaka getting... And Hendo, kind of getting into handbag moments, which was absolutely just stupid and just really, really frustrating. But yeah, just talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just couldn't believe we didn't get it away way before, giving away that penalty. We seem to have so many chances to get it away, and we're trying to be cute, and then it's just ridiculous. And then everything.
Someone's going to do a compilation of playing Harry Hill music over that.
Oh my God! I mean,
Benny Hill.
It was horrendous, wasn't it? I mean,
sorry, thank you.
Who's Harry Hill?
Clearly, I just like jump on trends here, and I don't know what I'm talking about. At least I made you all laugh.
Oh, dear, just on the pod now.
But yeah, it was just strange, wasn't it? And because we gave up so many chances, I mean, I follow some of these, old football was rubbish type Twitter accounts, and you see, and it's just shit football and like no skill or whatever. And it was just like that. It was just absolute amateur hour. And then so you knew something was going to happen. You knew someone was going to get a shot away or something, and I saw the penalty, but I couldn't really make it out. And I was watching it on a US channel, and like it was Martin Keown, and the angles that they showed was really inconclusive. It didn't look like a penalty to me, but I've seen some pictures since. It does look like he's clipped his ankle.
Yeah, he kicked him from behind. He didn't get the ball. So
but it was just again just poor decision making, and again it's just throughout the team. So it's probably fitting for us this season that we conceded to a soft goal like that.
And just sums us up, doesn't it?
What did you make of it, of the build up? And thank you for correcting me.
Sorry, say that again.
What did you make of like just the the build up to conceding that penalty and the umpteen chances we had to clear that ball and failing to do so, and
completely not a shit show. It just sums up what we are. That was a perfect example of what we have been all season, I guess. That was it. That 30, 40 seconds, whatever it was, for that goal. And it's like I said, it starts from, again, our right-back area, where they're overloading the right-back. Simple. Just give and go. Mm-hmm. It was just really, really simple stuff, It was just a pass inside between the right-back and the centre-back. And it wasn't just once. It happened twice, I think, in that movement. And that's just the stupidity of it all. I mean, we can all say, our right backs are struggling, but right backs aren't being protected, are they? It was just fucking bollocks. Sorry, excuse my French, but it was just crap, wasn't it? I mean, and it's like I think they had about 3 players in the box to our 24. It felt like, yet we still gave them a penalty, and that's just the madness of it all. So. Yeah, we can't defend. We don't know how to defend. We're relying on our attack to bail us out every game. It's this 17th game that we've gone behind in a row. I'm making that number up, obviously. It's probably like 25th, more like. You're not going to keep. You can't just win games coming from behind. You just can't do it. Premier League it's that type of league. You go behind. You generally you don't get a result. You might get a draw, but you don't very often get a win. And it's something that needs to be addressed from the off, because we're on the back foot straight away. And you can't play football like that. You can't do anything like that. I think I haven't looked at the league table, but I bet we're really close to the relegation zone.
I'll tell you, we're 10th.
10th, but how many points off relegation zone? About 4 points.
Oh, let me have a look. Where am I looking? Where are the points? Right. Okay, where are we in terms of points? We've got 10 points, and the relegation teams have 4 and 6. So basically 4 points off, Wolves, who are third from bottom.
How awful is that? And that's the reality of what we are. Forget anything. Forget looking up. We have to actually be more concerned about looking down. And that's that is it. That's where we are now. And you can forget any thoughts about anything this season now. We're in a fight. We're in a battle. And this month of October, it's 2 games a week. It's what we've always liked as a football team. We've always played better when we have that rhythm of playing games thick and fast. Now, these players need to be managed correctly. Right players need to be picked for the right game. We need to make sure we're capitalising on every moment and we're not doing stupid shit like the first goal and the third goal and the second goal today, because all those 3 goals that they scored against us are easily preventable. And that's the maddening thing of it all. That Arsenal team are a good team, but they're not a great team by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't play us off the park in any way, shape or form today. We're a shit team right now. Yet they're top of the table. Make of that what you will, folks.
I'm going to add a bit of a positive spin. We're 4 points off a relegation spot, but we're also 6 points off the top 4. So and we still have 2 games in hand. So you know what? You're hot.
Nina, come on, don't play that old chestnut.
Sorry, I know you'd rather have points on the table. I know.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? It's I mean, I'm gonna be upbeat here. We're gonna get top 4, people. I genuinely believe that. Yeah. I mean, it's no shit Sherlock. We're not going to win the league, but we're going to get top 4. I genuinely do think that, because I think we still have enough quality within us. We've still got enough quality about our management. Worry is obviously some players are picking up injuries like Trent and Diaz. But we need to get some of these injured players back in the squad as well. We need bodies badly, but I still believe that there's still enough about us, and I think that was shown in some. I'm going to take a glimmer of hope with how we played in a large proportion of that first half. I genuinely was enjoying that first half today. I'm not going to lie. I thought we played some really good football. I thought we played some really brave football.
Yep.
I thought, that they showed a positive attitude that has been missing all season, and I really liked it. And even though they weren't playing brilliantly, it was refreshing to see compared to what we've been watching this season. And that's why I believe we will still get top four. Might even win a cup. You never know. We might even win a cup.
I like it. Hopefully it is big ears, because as Jurgen Klopp said on ESPN, we're at the title race. Thank you for clearing that up, Jurgen. Because, some of us still had that hope. Dave, before we close the pod, any final thoughts from you? And then we'll go to plugs.
I hope we get top four. I'm not quite as confident. But if you look at the stats, well, we've conceded 12 goals in the league. Same as 2 more than Arsenal and Spurs and Chelsea. 3 less than Man United. So, we're just conceding at the wrong time. We just seem to do enough not to win. I really just hope.
But we do enough. We do enough to lose, though, don't we? Yeah, or not win. Yeah.
Well, again, we've only lost a couple.
That's true.
So it's the draws that have killed us as well this season. So we just need to sort that midfield out, and I just hope that. For me, I hate the phrase because I associate it with the Tories, but we do want to get back to basics. For me, that's what it is. It's just remembering what we're good at. We used to blow teams away, and I know we say we're a bit older now, so we should just accept not running other people off the park. But for me, that's a symptom of letting the squad age, and not replenishing, not getting fresh legs in. We need to get back to that 4-3-3. Fucking get Henderson out of the fucking side, and just remember what we're good at. I think for me, and I think we've had a bit of bad luck as well, but we can't really feel too sorry for ourselves because we just haven't been good at all, and that's across the board. But I do think the heart of it is in the midfield. So I think if we can sort that out, if we can limp. Up to the break when everyone's gonna go off for the World Cup and everything, get 2, or I would even say 3 midfield replacements in, then then we can push for the top 4. Because who knows? It's going to be a season like no other, isn't it? Some of those teams they might send players off to the World Cup, they get injured, they get overtired or whatever. So it's going to be a bit of a weird one. So, I don't think there's reason to jump off a ledge, but just need to sort the midfield out.
Right.
Yeah, and I am not as optimistic as Liverpool bringing in 3 midfielders in one transfer window, given the fact that Kieran kind of pointed that we bought 1 in 4 years. But you know what? You've got to stay optimistic, guys. We have come to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us live, who rang in. Also, thank you so much for everyone who participated in the questions. Really, really appreciate it. A massive thank you to both Kam and Dave. Before I let them go, I'm going to get some plugs where you can find them on social media. Kam, I'll come to you first.
You can find me on social media. I'm not on there at the moment. I've taken a really nice sabbatical. Twitter is at @CamBrainchi. Discord, I'm never in here. I'm not going to lie to you. Facebook, I don't do anymore. Instagram, I'm not posting anything at the moment. Blogs, obviously, anything AI related. Big shout out to my wonderful colleagues on the main pod in Trev, Paul, Lisa Marie, Drinkle. They're doing a stand-up job. I think I figured out what 116 is, Lisa Marie. I will wait your answer in the WhatsApp group. Like I say, keep listening to All Things AI. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, give Kam a follow and listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. And Dave, where can people find you on social media and more of your work?
Yeah, you can get me at Seattle Dojos on Twitter. Other podcasts you can hear me on, the VHS Strikes Back. You can find me on Comics in Motion and also Chris and Dave's reality TV cast. And we're currently following Married at First Sight, which is a whole lot more interesting than watching football at the minute, I must admit.
Probably a lot more unpredictable as well than watching the Reds as well. So there is always that as well. Yeah, the positive, the silver lining. Guys, give both of these two a follow and do check out their work. And hopefully Kam will be more on the main AI podcast because I just think he adds so much to it. I love him on that podcast. I just love him. Just putting it out there. For my part, I'm going to be back post Man City. That should be fun, hopefully. I will be back with the Euro Incision with Guy Drinkle. I'm really enjoying podcasting with Guy Drinkle at the moment. And if you're on Instagram, I kind of do little videos there as well. So do check me out on Instagram if you're on there. Thank you so much for joining us live. Thank you so much for listening. Don't let it get you down. Focus on the other positives in your life. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Take care till next time. Up the Reds.
Fucking Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.